A requel that doesn't retcon to the point where it reeks of Hollywood desperation coming out in January? This was never supposed to be good! You are now entering the missing frame. I just saw Scream 2022, alternately known as Scream 5. This isn't a situation like Halloween where they've just totally abandoned all of the sequels and they're saying it's a direct sequel to the original Scream that released in 1996, but it does have commentary on that, and rest assured, this movie is more meta than Facebook. Almost exactly 25 years after the original murders committed by Billy Loomis and Stu Macher, we have a new cast of characters facing off against Ghostface, with some of the iconic characters returning to the silver screen as well. First of all, just to brush you up to speed with where I stand with the Scream franchise, I love the original film. I've been watching it since I was probably way too young to do so. I'm a big fan of Scream 2 as well. Part 3 is my least favorite. I thought 4 was slightly better than 3, but still not great. So my expectations for a film coming out in January after the passing of the legendary icon Wes Craven, I wasn't exactly thrilled at the prospect. Unlike the past few Scream movies, this one actually feels like it has a reason to exist. It doesn't forget the happenings, but it focuses on the things that we love about this franchise. The kills are fantastic and bloody and also quite inventive. I thought the acting was actually really good. There was a heightened sense of reality, of suspense. There were actual stakes in this film, and the new blood, the new actors in the franchise alongside the legacy characters, it worked out better than it had any right to. You know what the whole point of the Scream franchise is, right? It's to poke holes in what horror is doing, the tropes of the genre. That's why it existed. It made fun of those things. What's your favorite scary movie? Ghostface kind of represented all of the killers, from Michael Myers to Jason Voorhees, whoever it might have been. This new generation of horror has new rules, so therefore Scream comes back into existence at just the right time, as everybody's doing these requels, where they do a direct sequel to the original piece and forget about all the shitty sequels that apparently nobody liked. The entire look of Scream 2022 feels fresh but familiar at the same time. They actually shot the majority of this movie in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I used to live, so that's a little fun trivia. No, but what I mean by that is that there weren't a ton of choppy edits and cheesy cuts to this, or a ton of unnecessary jump scares. I like the fact that the kills were brutal, they were bloody, they absolutely brought some new life there and a new flavor. And I also appreciated the way that they commented on the tropes, on the characters, and brought out the best performances of really everybody involved, with Jenna Ortega really just bringing something to the screen that I hadn't seen from her before. I thought she was one of the biggest standouts of the new cast. Deputy turned Sheriff Dewey is no longer a sheriff. He's dealing with a rough breakup from Gale Weathers. Obviously, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, they split in real life as well. But there were a lot of emotions really running through me, seeing these characters again on screen. There's several scenes that I was so shocked. For as many times as I did laugh in this movie, it was laugh out loud in places, there were also moments where I felt myself tearing up, and I appreciate that they brought that chemistry, and I also like that they brought back Deputy, now Sheriff Judy Hicks, and her son Wes. I think we know what that's winking to there, obviously paying homage to Wes Craven. He's portrayed by Dylan Minnette, and again, the new cast does an absolutely fine job. In fact, I think they do way better than the cast of Scream 4, where I actively disliked a lot of the characters. There's thrilling twists, there's heightened moments of suspense that actually did make me feel captivated, like there was a risk and reward as the viewer, and I really just appreciate the fact that this movie ended on a note where it could continue on, but it didn't feel forced, like they're trying to set up an entire new franchise. It's like I enjoy what they brought back from the past, the elements where they talked about the backstory on some of these characters. It made us feel connected to them, but they didn't force it. It felt natural. It felt earned by the time that they actually got to some of those biggest moments where they had the payoff. One of the standout things for me, other than the legacy cast obviously coming back in some more minor roles, I wouldn't call them supporting, but still, I really appreciated the bond between the sisters Sam and Tara, because without getting into spoilers, there's kind of a rift between them, and and it's kind of explored as they tear at that scar, open things up. It just felt, again, very natural, like this would actually make sense here. Taking it all the way back to the roots of the franchise while still injecting fresh new things with some awesome kills, it's all I could have hoped for in a new Scream film. And to be the 5th one in the franchise and to not feel like it's running on fumes, I mean, I think we can call that a win, right? As a Scream fan, I'm happy. As a horror fan, I'm happy. As a slasher fan, I'm definitely happy. It's bloody, it's thrilling, it's funny. It has a lot of action, but also a lot of emotion, and I hope you guys end up enjoying it as much as I did. The report card is in. I'm gonna give Scream 2022 an A. Before we go our separate ways, please leave a like if you enjoyed this review, but also let me know in the comments, what did you think of Scream 5? Did you feel that it actually did have a reason to exist, or you were just annoyed by it, or maybe you're waiting until it comes to streaming? Honestly, I'm glad I saw it on the silver screen. I thought it played out fantastically there. You can check out a couple of my recent videos on screen, and I'll be back right here on The Missing Frame.